folks. Whoop, whoop. Let's get this party started. All right. Celebration announcements. I just want to give you guys a shout out. This is Liliana Howard from the Early Learning Coalition of Marion County, and the folks here at Marion County Coalition are very, very proud of our providers. 84 out of 155 provider profiles have been updated for the 24-25 year. Woo! I know Miss Janet Honor and Miss Mary Brewster have been working diligently with you guys, and thank you so much for all your cooperation and helping reaching those goals and reaching as far as we've come so far. So just a little celebration there on that. Next, we're going to go to partner updates. And we are blessed to have Richard Forrester, Child Care Regulations Manager and from the Department of Children and Family, and also Ms. Daphne Harvey, who is the Operations Review Specialist from the Department of Children and Family. And they're coming to us today to talk about pre-service training requirements. As I said, this handout is available to be downloadable. And of course, all of our handouts and this information will be made available through our provider newsletter that comes out shortly after. And this meeting is recorded and available through YouTube. Okay, and Ms. Daff.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. As Lily said, my name is Daphne Harvey, and I'm the Operations Review Specialist for Central Region. And with me, I have Richard Forrester. He is our Program Safety Manager for Central Region. Richard, are you also online?
Yeah, hi everyone. I appreciate you allowing us to take the time to speak to you today.
Thank you to the coalition for having us. We are so glad to be here. Excuse me, one moment.
Daphne and I are both fighting colds.
There's a little bit of an echo, Mr. Forrester. Are you able to get closer to the mic or?
I'm pretty much as close as I can. Does that sound any better?
A little bit better, yes.
Okay. So as Liliana said, what we want to speak about today is the changes to the school readiness training. The new courses that have come out, there's 2 of them that have to be completed by everyone that is a school readiness provider. So I know you've all probably heard about this. Our licensing counselors are talking about this at every inspection, but particularly for our license exempt programs that only see the licensing inspectors once a year, we wanted to catch up with you all on these meetings so that we could talk about this before they actually come out and do your inspection, because these 2 new courses are required to be taken by all of your staff by June 30th of this year, 2020-24. So what are those courses? They're health and nutrition in the school readiness program and safety practices in the school readiness program. So those 2 courses have to be taken by everyone. The only individuals that may have already taken those 2 classes are individuals that chose option 3 as of January 1st of 2024 and completed their pre-service already this year. Everyone else will have to take those courses because they just became available on January 1st of this year. So these free courses are found on the Florida Early Childhood Professional Development Registry. And as I said, all child care personnel must take these courses, even if they have completed pre-service training. And these 2 courses can be used towards the annual in-service training requirement. So another change that we have, including these new courses that must be taken, is that any school readiness childcare personnel with exemptions from completing the DCF introductory childcare training, if they have used the DCF childcare training for their school readiness requirement and they received passage of those exams based on educational credentials or passing of the competency exams without actually taking the course, they must complete the pre-service training by June 30th or within 90 days of initial employment. So we will no longer have individuals be exempted from taking the classes if they're going to use the DCF introductory classes as their pre-service requirement. So as you can see, option 2 on the flyer is no longer available. So if you have printed this flyer, you'll want to just draw a line through option 2. The collaboration link is no longer available. So if you try putting that into your web browser, you would see that it doesn't come up any longer. Option 3 is now available. The classes are still free. And if you go to the DCF website, they are clearly labeled in the training that they are the school readiness free trainings. And out of those 5 that are listed on the flyer, the 2 that everyone must take are the health and nutrition in the school readiness program and safety practices in the school readiness program. Richard, did you have anything you wanted to add to that or reiterate?
No, you're covering it pretty good.
Okay. All right. Liliana, did you or anyone else there at the ELC have any questions about this?
Checking the chat to see if our providers have any questions, and I do not see any at this time.
Okay.
Daphne, let me ask you, is there going to be any grace after June 30th, since it is a new requirement? So say a counselor goes out on July 1st and there's somebody that doesn't have it. Is there a grace period or will they be cited?
I think there will be a citation, but of course, there's, this is a class 3 violation and there is no fine when it comes to this violation. It's just a communication piece to the ELC that the trainings were not completed. But I do want to mention that these courses can be used towards their in-service requirement that everyone has to complete by June 30. So these 2 classes together will almost take care of that requirement, I believe. So,
Ms. Daphne, is there a cost to the
no,
trainings?
no, on the option 3, those classes are all free. So if they do not offer transportation, they're only required now to do 4 classes. They have child development in the school readiness program, health and nutrition, safe sleep practices in childcare, and of course that's not required if it's a school age only program. And then safety practices in the school readiness program. So everyone that is a school readiness personnel will be taking the health and nutrition and the safety practices course before June 30th of this year. And then any new staff will want to either choose to do this option 3 within 90 days, or they can still opt to do the DCF option 1, which those courses do have the cost associated with those. And the exams would also have to be taken on site for those to apply for option 1.
Okay. So just to make sure that it's understood by our providers, if they take child care facility part 1, it replaces child development and school readiness program and safe sleep practices. Is that a correct understanding of this?
If they choose the DCF option 1, it's the 4 courses in part 1. It's not all of part 1. It's the 4 courses that are health, safety, and nutrition, child growth and development, behavioral observation and screening, and identifying and reporting child abuse and neglect. So it's those 4 classes. They each cost $10 each. And then they would also have to pass the exam for each of those classes. And they have to actually take the class. So that can be one of the options to fulfill the school readiness requirement within 90 days of working in a school readiness program. But they also, instead of doing that one, they can do option 3. Those courses are all no cost associated with those, and everything is online. But if they choose option 3 and they are a licensed program, they must not forget that they have to start a class in part 1 or part 2 of the DCF training to fulfill their licensing requirement. And they must complete that, the 40-hour introductory, just as they always have, within 12 months of starting the training.
Okay.
So I just don't want them to think that they don't have to do the DCF. You know, they have to do the DCF for their licensing component. But as far as the school readiness component, they do have that choice.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right.
And I don't see any questions at this time.
Okay. Well, thank you again for allowing us to come on and to talk about this. And if anyone does have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is daphne.harvey@myflfamilies.com. And I would be glad to answer any questions or clarify any training questions that anyone in the ELC staff or providers, anyone that has any questions. Okay.
And that goes for me too. It's Richard.Forster, Forrester, @myflfamilies.com. Or you can always call me on my cell phone, 407-721-0013.
You're a little fast on the phone number, 407
721-0013.
0013. And I will put all this in the group chat.
Great.
Awesome. All right. And I'm just double checking to see if we have any questions. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
again. Thank you, Liliana, and you all have a wonderful afternoon, okay?
You too. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move it along. And I'm putting those email addresses in the chat in case you guys need that. Right. And the next person up is Miss Janet Honor with VPK updates. We're gonna, I took the liberty of making an adjustment to the agenda, and we're gonna save Elizabeth's talk at the end. Okay, and let me just make sure that Janet is unmuted. Ms. Daphne, I do have a question for you, but I'm gonna send that information to you because I wanted to follow up with one of you afterwards. Just a heads up. And Janet. There's my Janet. There we go.
Okay. All right. Can everyone hear me? Okay. I'm thinking so. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be discussing VPK updates. As always, we discuss progress monitoring, and today we're going to discuss non-compliance with progress monitoring. The PM2 reminders have already been sent out to all providers detailing your start date of PM2 and your end date of PM2. It's important to note that providers who fail to complete any period of progress monitoring for any VPK students will receive a non-compliance. I am in the process of reviewing PM2 for our providers. So if you have not completed it on your students, you will receive a non-compliance from me. And even if you receive that non-compliance, please remember you are still required to test the students, okay? With that being said, Progress Monitoring 3 is approaching. So please make sure that you test your students when the window is open. It's very important for us to capture this data of the students' progress. And with Progress Monitoring 3, the children have already been in your center for some time. So it's important for you not to wait till a week before your PM3 ends or 2 weeks before it ends. That's where things happen where a child is missed. You miss testing a student. With PM3, remember, that's the end of your program. So if kids are not tested and your program has ended, we miss capturing that student's progress, and we want to capture their progress, okay? So please, guys, be mindful of the dates that have been given to you. Be mindful of any new students that come into your center because you are still responsible for making sure that these students are tested for progress monitoring. Um, as a reminder, all test administrators must have the VPK test administrators getting started with Fast Start Early Literacy Certificate completed. So I do know that staff changes at times, and you may end up hiring a new VPK teacher, and that is fine. If you have that VPK teacher in your classroom and that teacher is the one who is going to administer the test, please make sure that they have this certificate completed, because if not, you will receive a non-compliance from ELC. Do we have any questions there, Lily?
Not at this time. And
Okay.
I seem to be struggling trying to get, I'm going to try this again. Kim, I'm going to use your response to try to send this information to our providers.
Okay.
There we go. Ha,
Okay.
figured it out. All
Okay.
right, the contact information is there. Sorry, Janet.
No,
All
that,
right.
that's fine. Okay. So we're gonna move along with continuing with progress monitoring. Um, I want you guys to remember that if any students are enrolled in your center after the window has ended, you're still responsible for testing those students. You are required. Now, I've said this many times just right now, um, and I've said it over and over again in other meetings. And the reason I'm saying it is because I don't want to have to give you guys a non-compliance. I don't want our students to walk away and we not know where they have started and ended on their journey through VPK as we are preparing them for kindergarten. Okay, unenrolled students. Remember, it's your responsibility to contact our Family Services Department if you have any students that are no longer enrolled in your center. You have to make sure that you're contacting either Michelle Urban, that is your VPK manager. Lily will put her extension in the chat. Her extension is 239. Or Miss Natalia. Miss Natalia's extension is, I believe, is 243, Miss Natalia Ventura. She is your VPK client service counselor. And I seem to have lost my screen, so bear with me one moment. There we go, I'm back on. Okay. Um, so what happens is when you have your students, I'm going to try to speed it up. When you have your students that are no longer enrolled in your center, um, and they're still showing up in the portal, that means they're still going to show up on your roster in Renaissance. And so when I do my compliance check to see if all students have been tested, that child still shows up, and then I'm going to be thinking that you're not in compliance. Your compliance CSC counselors, when they come out to do your VPK monitoring, they're going to ask me, has this provider completed their PM 1, 2, or 3? If that student is still showing up as non-tested, then we're going to mark you as non-compliance, okay? All right, any questions there?
So far, not at this time.
Okay, so the next topic is the STAR summary report. We're going to take a little virtual field trip. Lily's going to help me out here. The STAR summary report, this is a report that is going to show you and summarize for you um, all your students who have been tested and who have not been tested. And so what I want to do today is show you how to customize your date range so you can see your students that have been tested, have not been tested. So when you're on Renaissance, you want to, as you see Lily, she's pinning this report. So she's going to pin it. Go ahead, Lily.
STAR summary report.
Thank you. And
Pin.
as she pins it, it's right there to the top where it says pin reports. Okay.
Magic.
So she's clicking on the report right now. And here's how you want to run this report. Uh, we're gonna use Kinderoo, Miss Martha, if you don't mind. We're not gonna show any of your students' data. We're just gonna just use your name. Okay. So at the subject, you want to select reading. Go ahead, Lily. Select that. Okay. At the assessment type, it must be STAR Early Literacy. Remember that, guys. Okay. Of course, you're going to select your school where it says school, and then where it says students, you want to select all classes. You can do individual classes, but for the sake of time, we're just going to do all classes. And then the demographics, she's going to click that. You want to select all of this right here, okay? And then you're going to hit apply. Okay, and then we're going to go down to group by, of course, it's going to be classes, groups, and date range. Okay, Lily, click on that date range. So you want to hit that custom because we want to customize this date range. Okay, Lily, I would like for you to um, go to the first one, the first date on the left. We want to go to November 27th, 2023. And then our PM3 has ended February 1st, 2024. Okay, then you're going to hit apply. Right here where it says scale, you want to make sure that it's the STAR unified scale, okay? And you want to select, when you go down, you want to select the first three. So Lily, you got that one selected, select testing location, okay? Select this other one, okay? So this is going to show you that student ID. And then you're going to hit update report. Now we're not going to scroll down because we have students' personal identification numbers or student ID numbers on here. We don't want to share their information. But this report is going to list all your students that have been tested. It's going to give you the date they've been tested, and it's going to give you their student ID. And it's also going to show you the total number of students tested. So let's say, for example, you have 15 students in your classroom, 14 have tested, one has not. It's going to show you that one child that hasn't been tested. You're going to give you their name, and it's going to show you the list of all the other 14 kids that have been tested for all classes. My directors, my owners, it is very important that as a best practice, when your testing window is open, pull this report every 2 weeks, to make sure that your teachers or your test administrator is completing these progress monitoring assessments on time. Okay. All right. And I just want to tell Lily, she did an awesome job navigating through this report because we was practicing today, y'all.
Yes, it's not something I'm in very often. In
Yeah.
the provider packet, you do have directions like this that could take you step by step as well. Okay, guys?
Lily, can you scroll down on those directions? I just want to point out something to them. Okay, scroll down some more, just a little bit more. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so he's right there. Stop right there. Go back up just a little bit more. Okay, all right. So it's giving you a list of all the subject assessment types. Please remember again, we are to select Start Early Literacy because we're the VPK. We're in the VPK program. Okay, that's the subject you want to select. Okay. Um, so if there are no questions there, I just want to remind you guys about the STAR Parent Report. Remember, you're responsible for providing this parent report to all parents, and this is 7 calendar days after the test has been administered on that student. Not 7 calendar days after the whole group has been tested. 7 calendar days for each individual student. Okay. So please make sure that you are providing that report. And believe it or not, parents do call us to let us know that they have not received their STAR Parent Report. Okay. And this is why we stress this to you. And it's important for you to share that information so parents can know how their children are progressing in the VPK program. Okay. Do we have any questions there?
Not at this time.
Okay. So now I'm going to get to the other heavy stuff because everything is heavy with important with VPK. I want to talk to you guys about the VPK contracts and VPK orientation and your VPK app. Providers, you must have an active profile before we can initiate your 24-25 VPK app. No matter what fiscal year it is, we have to have the profile to be active before we can initiate that app. Also, providers are required to attend VPK orientation to contract for the VPK program. This is in your actual contract. And with that being said, VPK orientation dates are as follows. It's here for you, guys. So make sure you hang this up somewhere. We have April. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put April 2nd. Please forgive me. Oh, I did put April 2nd. Okay, yep. April 2nd. From 9:30 to 11:30, April 4th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Again, April 9th, 9:30 to 11:30, and then the last date is April 11th from 6 to 8. And we picked these days because we know some providers are not able to make it in the mornings. So we wanted to give you guys the option to be able to come in the evening and get the orientation completed. Okay, we will have the orientation dates available on our website and on Acuity to be for you guys to register in a few weeks. And we will
March
send
15th.
Okay, thank you, Lily. That's why she's my backup. And we will send out a constant contact reminder for email reminder for you guys to register. We just want to let you know the dates now so we can get it, fresh on your brain and you know that it's coming up. Do I have any questions regarding the VPK orientation dates?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So with that being said, the 24-25 VPK application, that's the VPK apps, they are due April 15th. As your profiles are being active, when you select that you want to offer VPK, I'm moving forward and initiating that VPK app for you. Please don't get left behind and wait until the last minute to complete your provider profile. The VPK app, it does take a lot because you have to make sure that you have all the required documentation in there for your teachers, your directors, all staff that will be working with the VPK program. Lily, can you scroll down a little bit for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I want to give you guys some important reminders for the VPK program and the app. Providers, you cannot start before the public school starts. The public school will start August 12th, 2024. So if you select to start your program August 11th, August 10th, August 9th, we will be rejecting your VPK app. All directors, lead teachers, subs, aides must have the required credentials to be listed on the VPK app. So make sure that your DCF transcripts are current. If it is not, we will be rejecting your VPK app. Also, the VPK FAST training requirement, this is something that is annually has to be completed. Now, for anyone who is administering the progress monitoring, as a best practice, it is good to have your teachers and your your teachers and your aides take this training, because you never know who may have to administer the test for the students. And with that, there's a new requirement, and it is 2 agreements: the test administration and security agreement, and the test administrator prohibited activities agreement. These must be signed before. They must be signed before you can finish taking the.
The
I just lost
training,
my train
it's
of thought.
actually
Thank you,
chapter 2
Lily.
of the training.
Yeah, before you can finish taking the training. So what
Yep.
happens is, as you take the training, um, after you take the training, you have to sign these 2 agreements. These, the training certificate and the 2 agreements must be uploaded to the VPK app for that teacher, that aide, or that sub, whoever is going to have this agreements and have this training. So
Yeah.
we are going to be looking for that. Okay. Please note again, the teacher or the aide or the sub who administers the progress monitoring assessment on the students, if they don't have these requirements moving forward in 24-25, that's going to be a non-compliance for you guys. Okay.
And
All right. Go ahead,
and
Lily.
it is part of the training, the agreements. It's
Yeah.
actually chapter 2 as you go in, and it is going to be through Renaissance U, just like all the other previous trainings. You're going to go to Renaissance U, you're going to log into your account, and you're going to sign up for the training. And in the process of taking the training, it's going to require you to sign and acknowledge those agreements.
Yeah.
And the people who take those trainings will probably need your provider DCF ID.
Please, 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 guys, make sure that you're putting your name correctly. You're spelling your name correctly, because we've had that happen, that the name has been incorrect. And make sure that you are putting your DCF training ID on there, so it can be on your transcripts. Okay.
Yeah, and you want to
Also, go ahead,
put the
Lily. I'm sorry.
DCF provider. You'll use the DCF provider ID to identify the provider that you're working with, and when you put your name in, what Janet means by correct, make sure you put it as it's read on your DCF transcript. So if you haven't changed your name on your DCF transcript to your married name, you need to have it exactly like it is on your DCF transcript in order for it to match, okay?
Thank you for that clarification, Lily.
Yeah.
And the last thing about this, the training will be available in Renaissance U on, we're hoping in June 1st. If anything changes, we will update you guys. As always, I will be taking this training myself, so that I can show you what, what this looks like when we have VPK Orient, not VPK orientation, but as you are going through with the VPK app and contract. Okay, so if there's no questions there, we're going to move on to school readiness. I'm going to try to
Okay.
go as fast as possible because we have other people that have to speak today.
Okay, does the FAST training for 24-25 have to be done after June 30th, 2024?
Yes, whenever, let me make sure I say this correctly. So if it's available, it's going to be available June 1st. As soon as it's available, we're going to let you know, and that's when you should take it. So yes, you can complete it after June 30th. What I need for you guys to know is if you complete this training before June 30th, I'm sorry, before June 1st, it's not going to count for the 24-25 fiscal year. It's not going to count, and those agreements are not going to be there either. So yes, you can take this training after June 30th, but as soon as it becomes available, you want to go ahead on and take it.
And then I think the question is that, okay, it's understood. Okay, she says she understood. Awesome.
Okay. All right. Any other questions related to that, Lily?
No, ma'am, that was it.
Okay, so school readiness. Providers are required to attend SR orientation, which is school readiness orientation, to contract for the school readiness program. Again, this is in your contract. Currently, there are 51 providers signed up for orientation. So I need you guys who have not signed up to go ahead on and take the time to do so. The dates and the times are available for you. March 5th, we have 15 spots open. March 7th, there are 30 spots open for providers to sign up. March 12th, another 30 spots open. And March 14th, 33 spots open. So please make sure that you sign up for orientation. With VPK and SR orientation, you will be receiving a certificate, and you will receive in-service hours for those 2 hours of SR and VPK orientation. Okay? So please, please, please sign up. And Lily is showing you where you can sign up for orientation. It's just as easy as a click and registering. Okay? Also with school readiness, your profiles, they are due. If you have not completed your 24-25 provider profile, please take the time to do so. We have asked that profiles are due by March 15th. We're asking you to go ahead on and submit your profiles by March 1st so that we can process them by the 15th. Currently, we have 84 providers who have successfully completed their provider profile. We have 71 providers left to go. And there are 20 providers who have profiles in incomplete status. Some of these profiles that are incomplete status have been in that same status since January 4th. We need you guys to just go ahead on and give us a call, send us an email if you need any guidance on completing your profile so we can help you with this process. Okay, we have 12 providers who have submitted their profiles, and we're working on those profiles right now. And we have 6 providers who are in rejected status. So pay attention to your emails. We're giving you very detailed information on why your profiles have been rejected. Remember your pay rate sheet that needs to be completed, and the E-Verify form must be notarized and uploaded, okay? Okay. Are there any questions there, Lily?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to move along, and my last part is go back up for me, Lily, just a tiny bit. Okay. In our providers who are CCR&R providers, if you're wishing to have your business on the Child Care Resource and Referral listing, again, that profile must be completed. If you wish not to have it there, please send us an email so we know to inactivate your profile. Okay. All right, I'm coming down to the end here. Temporary closures. This is a very important topic this month, basically every month. Providers, please remember you're responsible for reporting and entering in your temporary closures on time. When entering in your temporary closures, providers, please remember you must have backup documentation as well. What the reimbursement team and what the provider relations team has noticed that providers are forgetting to enter in their temporary closure. And what happens is your attendance is being rejected. And then that takes time for us to have to follow up with you to get that temporary closure entered in, especially for VPK, if you want to make that day up or if you want to be reimbursed for that day. And then sometimes you end up missing the cut to be reimbursed for that attendance on time, and then you won't get reimbursed into the next cycle. So please remember to put your temporary closure in as soon as it happens, or give us a call to let us know, because I will follow up with an email to remind you, say thank you for reporting your temporary closure. Please make sure you enter it into the system. Okay?
And we've also included instructions in the packet. And you can also find instructions on our website
Mhm.
right here, where you go providers, resources. And you do have to scroll down a bit, I'm not
Yep,
gonna
you have to
lie.
scroll down, yep.
Provider how-to quick tips, and here you have temporary enclosures along with everything else.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys, I know that was a lot. I went over a lot. I thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for listening to me and the rest of the team. And that is it for me today.
All right, so we're moving along to Melissa Masonette on a class update. And let me make sure she is unmuted. Here we go. There you are, Melissa. Go ahead, Melissa.
Good afternoon. So today I just have a couple of things that I want to tell the providers, especially I want to announce that you will be receiving some, the Student Forum is going to be working with us and they're going to be contacting you by email or by phone to give you your 2 weeks window. They want to confirm as well your class schedules. So if you receive an email from Children's Forum, again, it's because they are working with us in the completion of the class assessments. If you have any questions, you can email us to the quality@elcmarian.org, or you can contact me at extension 223. In another area that I want to address is that the 2 weeks windows are being sent to a couple of providers. And when you see the email about the 2 weeks window, we are asking the providers to reply back with the 3 blackout dates that is needed for VPK or for school readiness. And we are having sometimes some providers, they do not reply with any blackout dates. If we do not receive any blackout dates, we just gonna schedule your observation with all the dates available, because the reason why we ask for the 3 blackout dates is to be able to accommodate those 3 days that you're choosing. So that way is convenience for the provider and convenience for us at the same time. So please pay attention to those emails with your 2 weeks windows and reply back by email with the 3 days blackout date, okay? Another thing that I wanted to address is that we've been sending also emails about your QPS needing registration with the date of completion, and I have a couple of providers that didn't complete it. Please be aware that that is in your contract that you need to complete your registration. And some of you are getting confused between the monthly roster and the registration. The registration is needed so that way we have your classrooms how they are at this moment for when we are going to do your observation. That's why after you complete your registration, you move to a pending score status. So that way we can have your classrooms and you're just waiting on the observation to be completed. Have in mind that the school readiness, we need to do the observations every year, and that the VPK providers is all the classrooms, not just some of them. If you have 3 classrooms for VPK, the 3 classrooms for VPK will be observed. And talking about the VPK, please, please, please keep in mind that outside time needs to be instructional. If you take your children outside during the observation, during your instructional time of VPK, needs to be instructional. You can integrate whatever you was talking during the classroom activities to the outside time. And there's so many things that can be done outside. So please don't forget that. And even during breakfast too, have those conversations about what they're eating, what are the nutrients and things like that. So that way it is instructional time, because when you are not having instructional time during those 2 periods, your score can get affected. So if there's any question.
Nope, no questions. I mean, there was one, but I took care of it for you. No worries.
Okay, so that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Hello, Miss Michaela. Let me find you and make sure you are unmuted. All right. It says you're self-muted, Miss Michaela. You ready to roll with our compliance corner?
Hello, everyone. You can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so today I'm going to go over some school readiness monitoring trends based off of some monitors that have been completed by the counselors out in the field. Just want to give you a few updates and some information. One of the trends that we are seeing is the providers are not having the 5-year records. The paragraph 42 of your statewide school readiness provider contract, it states the record maintenance that the provider agrees to maintain the records, including sign in and sign out documentation, enrollment and attendance certification, documentation to support excused absences, and proof of parent co-payments for children funded by the school readiness program. They must be maintained for audit purposes for a period of 5 years from the date of the last reimbursement request for that fiscal year or until the resolution of any audit findings or any litigation related to the contract, whichever occurs last. The provider may maintain the records in an electronic medium, and if the provider does so, then the provider shall back up records on a regular basis to safeguard against loss. Another issue that we're coming across is still attendance, the sign in, sign out issues. Rule 6M-4.500, daily attendance documentation shall be maintained by each school readiness provider based on the terms of the statewide school readiness provider contract specified in Rule 6M-4.610. The Florida Administrative Code. The provider must record daily child attendance using a paper sign-in and sign-out form or electronic attendance tracking system that is maintained at the provider site to validate the attendance data. For electronic attendance systems, the provider must back up records on a regular basis to safeguard against loss. The sign-in and sign-out forms, they can vary by provider, but must maintain and contain the following information. You must have the provider's name, the child's first and last name, the time signed in and signed out, the date, which is the month, the day, the year, and an authorized signature or electronic attendance tracking system that records the date, child's name, and electronic signature, card swipe, entry of a personal identification, or similar daily action taken by the parent or other person dropping off or picking up the child to or from the provider site. Okay, some of the common issues with the sign in and sign out. We are still seeing providers signing children in and out that are not authorized. This does not include the when providers are authorized to sign in the school age children. Children's name and or parent name spelled incorrectly. They must match the enrollment certificate. Siblings must be signed in and out individually, and then children sign in or out on days coded as holiday or scheduled closure days. Are there any questions so far, Lily?
There is a question. So if we are using a system with a code, a signature is not needed. That's the question. Does that mean that the signature is not needed?
Correct. With the code, electronic code, as far as what we've seen, is it gives it electronically. It shows the pen or something that it shows on there.
Do you allow technology like Brightwheel?
Correct. Yes, we have providers that use Brightwheel.
Okay. They said thank you.
Okay, and also with that, I also just received an update as far as for providers writing notes for absences. Any absences, the parents would need to write and sign the notes for the absences. Okay, the other issue that we're coming across is unusual incident reporting. Paragraph 81 of the statewide school readiness provider contract, it states that the provider agrees to report unusual incidents to the coalition by no later than the close of business on the next business day of the unusual incident, and to submit a written report to the coalition within 3 business days from the date of that incident. For licensed providers, sending a copy of the incident report submitted for DCF to the coalition will constitute compliance with this paragraph. The unusual incident is any significant event involving the health and safety of children under provider's care. Some examples of the unusual incidents include the accusations of abuse or neglect against provider or provider staff, the injury of a child which requires professional medical attention at provider site, or written notification from the child's parent that the child received professional medical attention. And when provider received notice of litigation where provider is named party or defendant in which relates to provider's operation at any location at which services are being provided. We just want to reiterate that anytime outside of a regular routine or annual inspection from DCF would be considered an unusual incident. You can upload the information into BlueJeans, or you can send your counselor, or you can send me an email just advising of an issue and advise whether if it is a school readiness or a VPK child. I know with the DCF complaints, typically take longer, so you may not receive that within the 3 days. So you can just go ahead and send us a little synopsis as far as what happened with the issue or when they came, or what the complaint was. Any litigation, if you receive any information from an attorney or something in reference to a parent, and any issues with that, you would just send that information in so that we would have it on file. Are there any other questions?
What if the child or person is not under the care of the center?
Need a little bit more information as far as not being under the care. Did something happen at the center, where the child wasn't attending, or I need a little bit more information.
Okay. I know who the person is asking, so if you want to try to just follow up with them after the meeting, Michaela?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no other additional questions, that is it for me.
Let me just double check. Okay. Nope. Doesn't look like there is any other questions. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Michaela. Mine's going to be quick and sweet. I just wanted to let you guys know I only have 2 spots left available, but we are offering class observer training. The ones in the providers who let me know during our last provider meeting that they were interested in becoming class observers for I reached out to them and let them know that the training was made available. We do have 2 slots left. If you go to the professional development portion of our website, you will see that the pre-K registration is available to be a class observer. Please note that as a class observer, you cannot observe in county and have it count towards a class score. You can't become a contracted observer for Marion County, but you can if you decide to do so outside of Marion County. This is not a recommendation. This is not anything like that. I'm just letting you know the facts that it's a conflict of interest to try to contract to do observations in county. I've gotten that question a lot. So now there's another question. As a director that completed this training, it is well worth attending. Thank you so much, Ms. Kim Laganata. Yes, Ms. Kim is not only pre-K certified, but she is also toddler certified, and I'm very excited. Thank you. And just a heads up, I will be the trainer for the pre-K class observer training. We also have registration will be opening in a week for the toddler observer training, which will be available April 18th and 19th. And these are all day trainings starting at 8 o'clock in the morning till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon with a lunch break. Okay, so if you do plan on doing this, just plan to have your backup and attendance on site to back you up for the whole day, for those 2 days. Okay, and now it is for the lovely Miss Elizabeth. Here we go. You ready to talk about ARPA? Let me find you and make sure that you are unmuted. That would probably help. Here we go. We have got a lot of Elizabeths. Here we go. I found her. Yay.
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. I'm starting to feel like we have so much information to give you, and we probably need to take a poll whether you are comfortable with us making this meeting like an hour and 15 minutes versus just the hour. But for my update today, I just have a few things that we've been talking about. So Lena Grow is well on its way. These are all part of the ARPA discretionary programming that we've been talking about for what feels like an eternity. I think we're on like year 4 now or 3. But this is the programming part that we've been talking about for the past few months. So Lena Grow is a professional development opportunity where teachers in specific classrooms get a chance to use a Lena device and gather some data on their interactions with their kids in their class during 1 day a week. And then they get a coaching session for an hour later that week with a Lena professional who will help them decipher the quality of their interactions with their kids. It's a professional development opportunity. It's a really neat thing that I've been trying to get in our county for years, and we finally have the opportunity to do it. So thank you to everybody that filled out the survey. We have 28 providers who are interested in this opportunity, and we are going to be reaching out. On my paper, I said later today. I'm thinking it's going to be by this week. My goal is later today, but you know how those things go. As soon as I make that promise, something else pops into my lap. So, but basically, we're going to be asking those that are interested to, Lily's like, erase it. It'll go out this week, though, no matter what. Our goal is to start with your classrooms. Our first cohort will be a maximum of 20 classrooms across the county, and we'll start by March 18th. So we are rocking and rolling to try to get everybody enrolled and ready to go. The next section is on coaching. So I ask you all if you would be interested in a series of coaching sessions with a professional that can help you as a director really kind of troubleshoot some of those things you face as a director at a child care facility or even a child care home running a small business and maintaining all of those professional development requirements and everything we have rolled out to you today and every month prior. So we have more than 20 directors who are interested. So I'm working right now this week actually to finalize our contract with our coach who's going to provide those sessions. So I will be reaching out and seeing, they're going to be kind of staggered because she's one person and she can coach. She wants to deliver quality to you and really support you in what you do. So I'll be reaching out to those people that said, yes, we're interested in getting more details on your availability pretty soon, this week or next week, probably next week. The last thing on this particular update is something you all have been waiting for. It's the furniture mini grants. Lily, can you scroll down a little bit for me?
Yes.
And actually, let me stop and see if there's any questions before I go into this one.
Okay, so I have a director who says, I'm interested, exclamation mark. And
if they didn't fill out the survey, then I would just need them to shoot me an email to let me know their name and site name.
And then I have a question here. Is it going to be posted anywhere like YouTube? Are you referring to the provider meeting or this information? Let me know. The provider meeting is definitely going to be on YouTube, guys.
Yeah.
Is the coaching one-on-one or is it in a group? And they're referring to the director coaching.
It's one-on-one. So the coach will kind of gather some information from you. And I've been through coaching myself here at the coalition, and it has changed the way I function in a lot of ways. It's changed the way I see things too, and how I troubleshoot problems that I'm facing. So it's really, really an awesome opportunity if you can take advantage of it. But it should be one-on-one typically, unless there's if there's some reason why a bunch of you are like, we would rather do this as a group and we have the same questions, and that's a different conversation. So this is set up to be one-on-one. It's 6 sessions with your coach. The coach will gather some information from you about what are your strengths, what are your opportunities, what are the goals that you want to meet in your career, and sometimes your personal stuff wraps up into that as well. And so then you get to really start diving into ways to tackle those things so that you feel like you're making progress in your career and what your goals are.
Okay, awesome.
That's it. All right, awesome.
I'm excited about coaching.
Yeah, I love coaching. It's one of my favorite things
I
in
had to
this
do
whole
that with,
world.
yeah, I had to do that with drama because there was exclamation marks all over this.
Good, good. I love that. So the next things that we have, or the last big thing, is the furniture mini grants. You all have been waiting with bated breath for this one, and we are wrapping up the final stages. As you know, nothing that we do rolls out easily, right? There's lots of hoops to jump through. There's lots of things that we have to get approval on before we can do it, and this one is a biggie. So what I can tell you right now is applications are, while my goal was to get them out like now, they're pretty much ready to go, except I have to do a procurement process that is kind of putting a little boulder in my path, but we'll get around it. So I wanted to give you a heads up so you can start thinking about these things, and that way your ability to apply for this grant happens pretty quickly. So here's the things that I can tell you. Now, some of the details may change, but the bulk of everything that's in here is probably not going to change. So the only reason it would change is if for some reason we couldn't meet capacity, or we couldn't, like, I couldn't tell you, something fell in my path and I wasn't able to do it. But so right now you have to be contracted for school readiness and or VPK. Your classrooms have to be active either in QPS or in VPK. It's the same way we did if you purchased curricula. It's the same way that we looked at if you had the same amount of classrooms and verified how many classrooms you had. If you only offer VPK, you can only apply for this grant for your VPK classroom, okay? The maximum amount, I had to take a breath when I wrote this down on my paper, $15,000 per classroom. Okay, we did a lot of research on this as far as what would it cost to really put some quality furniture pieces in a classroom. $15,000 per classroom. It doesn't matter if you're a center or if you're a home provider. The items, though, are going to be limited to the following. So this list right here, and here's how we are foreseeing it come out. And I'm saying it that way because I don't know how it'll actually roll out. You will have the opportunity, whichever vendor we go with, you'll have the opportunity, you will have an account already with them. You'll log into your account, you'll pick the items for your classroom, and it'll only allow you to pick from this set of materials, okay? And it'll have a maximum you can spend. That's that. So age appropriate tables and chairs. Those of you that are using the bucket tables, most of you already know how I feel about them. Those are the tables where you put infants and toddlers into a plastic seat in the table, and it cuts off the circulation to their little legs, especially if their feet are not touching the floor. It can pinch their little legs, and it's just not a real healthy way to sit. I just want you to imagine me picking you up and putting you inside of a table, okay? And not letting your feet hit the floor. I just need you to have that visual in your head of Elizabeth doing that to you. So appropriate tables and chairs, they are adjustable. In the picture that I attached to this one, you can see a sample of an appropriate table and chair for this young lady who looks to be probably about VPK age. If I had to, if I had to guess. I will tell you, if you need to see what examples are, you want children to be able to sit with their knees bent in an appropriately seated position with their feet on the floor, flat on the floor, okay? And the tables they typically adjust, the legs adjust. So this is your opportunity. If you have things that are falling apart, we want to help fix that. So the other things you can purchase are, there will be rug options, there will be an outdoor sink option, dramatic play furniture. So if you need to replace some of those pieces in those classrooms and these are just examples of some things that we found: kitchen, grocery store, workbench, mud kitchen for outside if you do not have one, a glider for your infant room, wooden blocks. If you've been dying to purchase wooden blocks, but you're like, whoo, I cannot spend $700 on 30 pieces or whatever it is of high quality wooden blocks, this is an opportunity for you. Age appropriate shelving. In the picture, you can see shelves that are child height, shelving that allows play on top of them, even as almost like a table surface where a child can stand there and play and use the that word. There's my word, Janet. I always tease her about how she says curriculum. Mine is manipulatives. There. Reading nook. Some of you have been dying to put in a soft space. In the back corner of that picture, you can see a little reading nook with the bean bags and the pillows and the soft spaces where you can cuddle up and read a book. And books are at child height so that they can get to them. If you notice in this classroom, there are books in every section. They have a book to go with their different pieces. The other thing is cots and cot sheets. Now, what I will tell you is we may add a couple of things to this list. I will tell you no playground equipment will be purchased with this grant. The most that we could do with an outdoor is the outdoor sink and possibly a mud kitchen if you don't have something like that outside already. And I think, and the other piece of this is you're going to apply per classroom. So that's why I want to give you a heads up on this. A tool I can give you, and I didn't put it on this paper, but if you go to lakeshorelearning.com, I think, just Google Lakeshore, it'll pop up. You go to their website, they have a classroom planning tool. You can go on there, Lily's so good. You can go on there and I think it's at the very bottom, you can do there's like a classroom somewhere.
I'll find it.
Yeah, and actually I know if you go to furniture, if you're searching furniture, it'll pop up there too, where you can actually, yeah, you see all these different room options and there you go, complete classrooms. So one of the things that we're going to ask you to do is we have to be able to show that you have this need for this furniture. It can't just be like, oh, I hate this table that we bought 16 years ago. I really want to change it out, but there's nothing wrong with it. If there's nothing wrong with it, keep that table, use that table. There's got to be other things in that classroom that you may need that fall under this grant. So we're going to be asking for photographs of your classrooms, not of your kids, of your classrooms and how they're set up. Okay, and so if you're asking us for 4 tables for one classroom, I want to see why. I want to see that one of those classroom or those tables, if they are completely scratched up, if they're chipped on the side, you keep getting DCF to come out, or DCF keeps coming out and giving you a health and safety violation on something, we have to see that, okay?
We do have some questions when you're ready.
Okay, the applications are not going to be super lengthy. They are just going to ask you to justify your need for these pieces. They are going to be per classroom, not per provider. So that means that if you are a center and you have 7 classrooms that you want to apply for this grant for, you will have to fill out an application for all 7. Okay. All right, hit me up with the questions.
All right, here's the first one. I put it in Teams for you.
Okay. Let me open my Teams, that would be helpful.
And
yes.
the other one is, can you do cubbies?
Cubbies, I may be able to add to that. So I'm writing a list right now because I couldn't think of everything. I did look at some of these and I was like, I don't know. I might be able to add cubbies. So I'm writing that down. As far as purchase from one vendor, yes, it will be the vendor that the coalition goes with. Because we have to do a specified procurement process that is extremely lengthy. Now, if you have a suggestion for a vendor, you can send that to me and I'd be happy to consider them.
Okay, and here's the other question.
If VPK providers have a classroom with no enrollments, can they apply for the grant? Okay, this is a tricky question, but I did talk with my CEO about this, and one of the goals of this grant is to ensure that you have adequate space for more enrollments. So if you have a VPK class, it does have to be in your application, and it can't be you go in there and add it today. It needs to already have been on your approved application. If you're not using that classroom though, remember you're still going to have to justify the need for this furniture. We want you to be able to have the spaces to open up those seats to any child that comes your way. So if one of the reasons why you don't have enrollments is because you need to be able to open up a classroom, then let this grant help you with that. Okay, the next question, can family home provider buy a love seat or a sofa for the classroom? Okay, if it's not on this list, we cannot justify it. However, if you write me an email and show me why, how, it would have to be in a classroom, not like your living room. If you use your living room as the classroom, then we would need to have a separate discussion about your setup of your classroom. Okay. So with that respect, I'm not sure that, I know that there are some child size love seats and things of that nature and little sofas that are child size. I'm not sure that our vendor would even sell something to that nature. So if you, I'm going to put it out there. I'm not going to say no, but I'm going to say I will definitely need justification or to understand your why.
And they want to know, will cribs be available?
You know what? That's a good one. Let me put that on here, cribs. Now I will tell you, so if we do cribs, if our vendor has them for purchase, which most likely they will, they would have to meet the standards, you know, and you definitely would have to justify that the cribs that you currently have are not meeting the purpose any longer.
And that was someone that wasn't here when we were giving them out a couple of years ago. So,
Fun times. I've
yeah,
never moved so many cribs in my life.
I know, right?
Anything else? Any other questions for that?
No more questions. Do you want to make the announcement?
At the bottom? You can.
Mhm.
You can scroll
Drum,
down.
drum
Drum
roll,
roll.
the winners.
So thank you to everybody that did participate in our survey. We had 42 responses, and our software allows us to do just a random drawing link. So I randomly drew. What I'm going to tell you, if Carla Shaw is listening, I randomly drew your name like 6 times. So you probably need to play the lotto tonight. But that you're with God's gift. Those of you that are on the screen, thank you for participating. You are going to get a classroom set of puppets and a little puppet stand. It's going to take me a hot minute to put those purchase orders together, but we are trying to say thank you for your participation, and your feedback on that survey was wonderful. And actually, as a follow-up, and I'm going to end with this, because of your feedback, we are moving forward with planning a really cool provider appreciation event that we hope that you will attend. Our goal right now is to not have it cost you a dime, of course. For anybody that filled out my survey, I ask a lot of different questions because we've never gotten to do something of this nature. And I just wanted to get a feel for how you were feeling about something like that. So we're working really hard to get that, and I hope by the next provider meeting we'll have the save the date for you.
Whoop,
That's
whoop.
it. Do we have any other questions or any other feedback?
We did get feedback. Woohoo! I see our center in this list. Thank you.
Yay. Congrats. All right, well, thank you, Lily, once again. Great job being our MC for the day, and you guys keep doing what you do because you're doing amazing things. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for hanging out. Sorry it took so long. Well, you're very welcome, Miss Kim. You guys are the reason why we do it, because you're taking care of our kiddos. All right. Let me go ahead.